It features in the red corner this evening, boxing out of the St. Saviour's Olympic Boxing Academy, Dublin. Please welcome to the National Stadium of Ireland, Darren Sutherland.
Darren Sutherland is a full-time sports science student in DCU, who's favoured to win here. He's 25 years of age, and he's one of Ireland's best hopefuls for the Olympic Games in Beijing in 2008, next year.
The Immaculata Amateur Boxing Club via Dungiven, County Derry. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dublin, Eamon
O'Kane, as Harry was saying, there is from Dungiven and County Derry, better known for his Gaelic footballers, but this is a man with a growing reputation. 24 years of age, he's the current Ulster champion. The referee comes from County Galway. This is Ferdy Whelan, one of Ireland's most experienced referees. It's the first round of the 75-kilo middleweight national title fight. In the red, it's Darren Sutherland from the St. Saviour's Boxing Club in Dublin against Eamon O'Kane from the Immaculata Club in Belfast. This was, you may recall, Andy Lee's weight. He won the title for 3 years in a row. But Darren Sutherland has certainly grown into this division. Punches very well with both hands. Both of these boxers are orthodox boxers, and it's going to be an interesting tussle. But the favourite, by all means, seems to be the man in the red shirt. Mick Dowling, 8 times national senior bantamweight champion, twice European bronze, joins me in the commentary position. Your thoughts on this?
Marty, when you're around boxing as long as I've been, you're always looking and watching for somebody special to come along, and every now and then that somebody special comes along, you know, whether it's a McCullough, McGuigan or whatever. But here with Darren Sutherland, he is very, very special. I like this guy. I love his style of fighting. They thought he had a bit of a scrappy semi-final. I don't think so. He did let a few punches stray low, but he is such a complete fighter. All of the punches that he puts in are all proper, well-delivered punches, despite the fact that not one of them strays low. And the reason for that is he opens up that left hand of his when he gets in close to drop in long, low, looping shots. And of course, he's got to keep them above the belt. But he is such a deliberate puncher. He's so good. This is a difficult one for Eamon O'Kane.
Well, you mentioned about low punches. He got into trouble with the referee in the semi-final. It was, by all accounts, a scrappy contest. He eventually beat Eddie Healy from Port Leisha. But Darren Sutherland, that eye injury certainly put him back. And his entire focus is on the Olympic qualification this year. And as Darren mentioned in his introduction, the first of the Olympic qualifiers will be next September's World Championships in Moscow. Our boxers reaching the quarterfinals will book their tickets for Beijing. And Eamon O'Kane here defending himself well, but certainly the dominant character in that opening round is Darren Sutherland.
Well, without question, Sutherland would be by far, the favourite in this particular contest, because he's got everything, he's done everything. Yes, he's had his eye injury, but eventually it wasn't as serious as it had been thought, Marty. There was no danger to his sight. He does have some small plates in that left eye of his, but it's not going to cause him any problems whatsoever. But he is a very, very hard hitter. He punches really solid to the body. Yes, he's got a 2-point lead now at the moment, and that would be expected. But earlier on, I was talking to Eamon O'Kane. He wasn't in the slightest worried about taking on Darren Sutherland. He was ready for the action, ready for the fray.
Well, Sutherland takes the first round by 4 points to 2. And Eamon O'Kane getting advice from his corner. He's a good, strong worker and bangs well with the right hand in particular. But his weakness, if there is a weakness in his game plan, is that he's a bit predictable. So he's going to have to produce something a little bit different here if he's going to surprise Darren Sutherland and indeed surprise the Irish boxing world by winning this middleweight title. He's coming out boxing well to start of this second round.
Well, I can tell you, Marty, that yes, he's after landing a cracking right hand on Darren Sutherland's chin there, and you could see Darren's legs shake. No doubt, Eamon O'Kane, he knows he's hit him with that good shot. He's piling it on here now. He did land a really cracking shot over in that far corner to the chin of Darren Sutherland. And you know, all great fighters, you have to be tested and see, can you take it on the chin? So this is certainly testing Darren, because Eamon O'Kane is not at all overawed. He's going to let his own big shots go. Doesn't care who Darren Sutherland is. He's out there. This is a championship. This is a final. He wants to win it. But Sutherland, as usual, is coming back, picking all those really good, deliberate shots.
I think his game plan at the start of the second round was to surprise Darren Sutherland. He plays a defensive game very much, and then just gets the odd jab or the right hook in. But he seemingly plan was to tear into Darren Sutherland at the start of the second.
Well, yeah, there's nothing different or extraordinary about Eamon O'Kane. He's a very straightforward, orthodox fighter. Just plows forward, but he really works very, very hard. He's boxing a long, long time. I remember him coming to the stadium here going back at least 10 years ago, and he's boxing in good company all the time. Works in Belfast as an engineer. So he's done his college, he's done his schooling, and now he's concentrating on his boxing as well as his new job.
He beat Sean Shevlin in the semi-final in the fourth round of the Nationals to set up tonight's final against Darren Sutherland. Dungiven Derryman is very much an outsider, but so far the second round seems to have been a good round for him overall. But whether he'll win it or not, the judges will now decide. But Darren Sutherland was well hit in that first opening moments of that second round, and certainly, as you said, Mick, seemed to rattle his cage a little bit. Scoreboard coming our way, and it's Darren Sutherland increasing his points tally. It's now 9-3 in favour of the Dublin man.
Well, it's hard to believe that Eamon O'Kane just got one single point for that. You know, he landed a cracking right hand. I think it's just after showing it there. He's not overawed, good body shots in, but again, it's a problem with body shooting that do not score body punching, and it's a pity, Marty. They should be. They're trying to keep boxing safe and perhaps less head punches, but they're not scoring the body punches, which they should be.
Just explain that further, because if you are really going to score, you have to be hitting on the chin, really, don't you?
No, you do not. It's anywhere, you know, the chin right down the shoulder line, right across the waistline. It is supposed to score just equally as well to the body as it does to the head. But very often the judges do not see that and do not score and do not appreciate body punching.
Sure. So the start of the third round, it's 9-3 in favour of the man in the red shirt, Darren Sutherland. Beat the current champion. He beat Edward Healy last year in the semi-finals, or in the final, I should say. Stopped him in this year's semi-final. And though Darren Sutherland was dominant here already, there's a count here for Eamon O'Kane.
What has happened here, Marty? Once again, this deliberate body punching of Darren Sutherland has definitely got through to Eamon O'Kane. Eamon just went down on one knee to take a break. I think Sutherland will know that now and sense that, yes, I can hurt him, and will try to get in with some more body shots. But in saying that, Eamon O'Kane tries that big swinging right hand of his. If he's got any chance of winning this, Marty, it's got to be with that big, big, strong right hand. He's got to land some big ones on Darren. I think he will find it very difficult. The Sutherland is such a solid hitter, and he is hurting to the body. You'll see that left hook. Here we go again. Yeah, that left hand of his just rips in.
Certainly connected there, and there's another count for the Derry man. Despite the fact that it looked like O'Kane was doing well, putting pressure on Sutherland and keeping him on the ropes, but then Sutherland produces that right punch that rattles Eamon O'Kane.
There we go again.
O'Kane is down, but he claims that it was a slip. He looks like he's being sent to the corner there. Sutherland, he's getting the count despite O'Kane's protestations.
Well, there you go, Marty. It is all over, and one of the problems here is the referees are so, I suppose, fearful and respectful maybe of the power that Darren Sutherland has. They're not going to let any boxer, any opponent of his, take unnecessary punishment, and I think it was probably a decent and good decision by Ferdy Whelan, the referee.
Well, disappointment for Eamon O'Kane, because he certainly was protesting that he was okay, but Ferdy Whelan from Loughrea made the correct call. Safety comes first, and made his decision, and assertively decided that it was the end of the road for Eamon O'Kane.
Sutherland is, yeah, Sutherland's such a good hitter, you know, really a power puncher here. Here he is with that left hand, setting up. There goes the right hand over the top, catches Eamon O'Kane. Yes, O'Kane says, yeah, I'm okay, ref, there's nothing wrong, but he was certainly stunned.
Ferdy Whelan assertively controlling this bout and deciding that that was it. Darren Sutherland retains his middleweight title here with an impressive performance, all taken care of after 3 rounds.
Center of the ring, boys, please. Ladies and gentlemen, give both
This is the man that reached the quarterfinals in the World Championships in China 2 years ago. He lost to Korakova of Russia and went on to win the title. And again, I think the boxing world will be looking to Darren Sutherland for Beijing next year. An impressive performance here.
Irish Daily Star sponsored middleweight national championship for the season 2007 and holder of the St. Saviour's Olympic Boxing Academy by a 3rd round stoppage, Sutherland in the red corner.
And the St. Saviour's Boxing Club here in Dublin, 25-year-old. He's an orthodox boxer, but he punches with both hands very well. And although he seemed to be hurt in the second round with 1 punch by Eamon O'Kane, he boxed back spectacularly, and he really can get inside the cover once he decides to go at it. And indeed, Mick Dowling, I think you said to me earlier today, he's one of those boxers that really moves like a pro.
He does, Marty. I've watched him in his own gym, and he's so good to look at, you know. But like all good fighters, he did get nipped with a good shot there, but proved, like all good fighters, he's well able to come back after it.
Well, he's the reigning middleweight champion, and he retains his title, and talking to him in the ring is our own Shane O'Donoghue.
Thank you very much, Marty. With Darren Sutherland. Darren, you are back. How does it feel?
It feels amazing. Well, yeah, I just 6 months ago, it didn't look like I was ever going to box again, let alone be able to see properly with that injury. And it's just feels like the world, a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. Oh, you don't know what this means to me. Like this is more important than winning the last time, because under the circumstances, I'm just so happy to be back. It just did not look like it was gonna amount. I only got the all clear in October, 8 months without sparring or anything, you know. So just have to thank Kenny for giving me a bit of sparring there just before Christmas to kind of bring me back, and feels good.
Well, we're delighted to see you back, Darren Sutherland. What about your opponent tonight, Eamon O'Kane? Of course, a 5-time Ulster champion. You treated him with respect, did you?
Yeah, like last week, like I was just the frustration. I came out all guns blazing, you know, and I knew I couldn't have that approach now to Eamon O'Kane. He's a seasoned amateur, and you know, I just had to. It was frustration before, but just being out of the ring for so long. So now this time, I just got it all out, and I just want to say a special thank you to my parents, Tony and Linda, and my girlfriend Grace, because without their support, I don't think I would have made it back, because it did not look good, and they had hope. And thank God I'm here now. Thank you.
Well, you're a defending champion, and you are the current reigning middleweight champion of Ireland, Darren Sutherland. The very best of luck for the rest of the year, and let's hope to see you in Beijing in 2008.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, champion of Ireland, Darren Sutherland.
Here, let's hope to see Darren Sutherland in Beijing in 2008. Retains his middleweight crown here at the stadium tonight. Bernard, you impressed?
It was a very workman-like performance tonight. You know, there was nothing extraordinary done. You know, he showed good power. You know, but the combination punching that he's known for, he didn't really perform with tonight. You know, he went out, he boxed behind the jab. I think that's where he was getting all his points from. You know, he's boxing clean shots. And he didn't mix it. Last week he stood there a little bit and mixed it too much and got hit with silly shots. By a guy who obviously with inferior ability than he had, and you know, he shouldn't be getting hit with shots the way he was, you know. But this week you could see the rust coming out of him slightly, and you know, he's starting to move around, and you could see the confidence back in him. Maybe the injury had a little bit of a psychological thing on him last week as well, you know, just getting back in the ring for the first time. So
sure, absolutely. There was a lot of emotion involved in this interview, Michael. What was your assessment of his performance? Like 8 months out, as Bernard says, a long time.
Oh, it's a hell of a long time out of boxing. He was very controlled for the first couple of rounds. Unusual to see him use such a jab. Like he normally likes a good tear up earlier on. So
he's a combination puncher all the time, isn't he?
As you can see there, like in fairness to Kane, O'Kane brought it to him. I was a little bit miffed with the O'Kane only scored 1 point in the second round, but Darren knew he was in a fight there, you know what I mean, and he knew he had to give this boy respect. His straight punching was very good tonight, Darren's straight punching, and you know, he caught him with a body shot in the third round, which none of us really seen, you know, it was that quick, I suppose. But he got the job done. He's a senior champion.
I think the team we have to remember is we were also missing O'Neill from this weight division. He injured himself just before the start of the championships. I think O'Neill against Sutherland in the final would have been a hell of a scrap. You know, the two of them are in the top 10 in the world. You know, and it's amazing for Ireland to have 2 middleweights. You know, Darren, I think, is world number 6, and you know, Neil is world number 10. So it'd been an amazing fight. But you could see that just the raw power here coming out, son, that he catches him. He were a right hook here.
And he likes
really
to tear up, doesn't he? He likes to. He probably make a good pro in that sense that he likes to get inside and fight. You know what I mean?
And the referee did well to stop the fight. In fairness.
Sure, yeah. Well, talk about Olympic Games now. You know, well, it's a long way away, but the World Championships in September. You know, how far can Darren do? He's a lot of it. He will improve an awful lot between now and then.
Most definitely, his confidence will 100% go up. I think he needs to improve a little bit more, maybe on his head movement. Sometimes when he chose his combination shots, which he didn't do a lot of tonight, he stands very static and gets hit back. You know, when he fires off them combinations, he needs to slip and get out of the way and make sure he's not getting scored against.
Welcome back to the stadium. Next we go live to the featherweight division, and we've got Eric Donovan and David Oliver Joyce, both from St Michael's in Athy. This for the featherweight championship of Ireland. Commentary from Marty and Mick again.
Thank you very much, Darry. Yes, a very interesting tussle here about to develop. It's an all St Michael's Athy title fight as such. Featherweight, this 57 kilos. Fascinating battle between 2 boxers with different styles. There's the classy Eric Donovan, a southpaw, against the close-up skills of one David Oliver Joyce. David Oliver Joyce, by the way, is the junior intermediate under 21 and national champion. We're looking at Eric Donovan in the red. He's the 22-year-old from St Michael's Athy. He's part of the high performance squad. He's also, most importantly, a southpaw. And already he beat Ross Hickey from Grange Con Wicklow in last year's final with a 20-point victory. So certainly he is a boxer with quite a reputation. And his knowledge of David Oliver Joyce obviously is quite substantial. So is that an advantage or a disadvantage? Well, we don't know. He certainly performed well in here in the National Stadium when he represented Ireland against Cuba a couple of years ago, and did very well. And tonight he's going to be taking on David Oliver Joyce, who's only 18 years of age. He'll be 19 in February. His trainer there in the corner is Dom O'Rourke, who's president of the IABA, and I'm told he's won something like 12 national titles. What's your view on this particular bout, David Oliver Joyce or Eric Donovan? Mick Dowling.
Well, it's going to be interesting. They've actually swapped trainers here tonight because Jerry Story is helping out David Oliver, and Jim Moore in the other corner is helping out Donovan, because of course Tom O'Rourke has stepped down in this situation. But yeah, the fight as we get it here now, it's going to be a cracker, because Donovan, good, skillful southpaw boxer. David Oliver will certainly want to get in close and will be setting a really, really hot pace.
Round 1 of the featherweight title fight. David Oliver Joyce in the blue, taking on his clubmate Eric Donovan. St Michael's Athy, already the boxing club of the year for 2006. Heavily represented last year in the finals. Same again this year. So either way, there's going to be a title going to Athy at the end of this particular tussle. Eric Donovan, current national senior junior under 21 champion for 3 years in a row. And the skills are varied here. Donovan in the red, the southpaw. And I think the plan will be, Mick Dowling, that David Oliver Joyce needs to get up close and personal.
Indeed, and the pattern has been set already. David Oliver is pressing forward. He needs to put a lot of pressure on Donovan. Donovan will like to stand off, like to box, but David Oliver is a very, very fit fighter. Again, here we have 2 boxers that are full-time boxers, Marty, both on the high-performance squad. But David Oliver, tight defense, bobbing, weaving, trying to get close in the blue vest here. But Donovan would have long raking jab of his, picks him off, leans back, brings that uppercut in nicely. But there you are, David Oliver in on top of him and just banging away all over him.
David Oliver Joyce, technically a very good boxer. And as Mick was pointing out there, his reputation is very much built on fast hands.
He likes to get inside and open up fast, and if he's to beat Donovan, that's what he's got to do. He's got to get in there. He's got to give Donovan no chance to breathe. He's got to just stay on top of him, and with lots of clusters, lots of fast combinations going. He's got to bob and weave, get that head of his out of the way of Donovan's punches that are coming back at him. But Donovan is a nice stick mover on his feet as well.
David Oliver Joyce, bantamweight champion from last year. He's had a problem in the past with weight, and thus he's moved on to the featherweight. And as you can see, he really has to bombard his opponent, not allow Eric Donovan any chance to maneuver or to use that natural southpaw ability.
Yeah, well, I was talking to David Oliver beforehand, Marty, and yeah, he said that, yeah, he was really up for it and looking forward to it. And you can see he's already got a 2-point lead on Eric Donovan, so Donovan now is going to be putting it up to him. But it is early days yet. But the pattern of the fight has been set. It's, you know, the pressure has got to come from David Oliver. Donovan, on the other hand, has got to move well, got to pick him off with clean punches. Certainly David Oliver Joyce would be the harder puncher, there's no doubt about that, and he throws the most punches as well. But Donovan is quite a slick mover, so he'll be picking off his little points. That's Jerry Story, of course, there with David Oliver. Jerry Story, one of the best coaches around.
Well, he beat Ross Hickey 18-9 in the semi-final. Hickey was a finalist last year, but ultimately lost to Eric Donovan. Hickey was a southpaw, so and Donovan is a southpaw, so certainly there's knowledge there. Round 2 on this featherweight title fight, with David Oliver Joyce leading by 2 points after the first round and 4-2.
And both of these boxers have the best coaches in the country sitting in the corners here. Jim Moore is in the other corner for Eric Donovan, and they're really going at it here. Jim Moore has told Donovan, look, keep him at long range, use those long punches, long and fast, long and clean, do not get inside with him. And then on the other hand, you have Jerry Story advising David Oliver, yes, get on top of him, don't give him a chance to breathe, stay in there, stay walking away, both hands up and down, and that's what both of them are trying to do here.
David Joyce needs to get inside that cover and continue the first round strategy of bombarding his opponent with punches. As Eric Donovan, as Mick was pointing out, wants Joyce at arm's length so he can jab and use that southpaw. Joyce playing a defensive game at the moment. I think he has to, really.
Well, you know, when Eric Donovan boxed the semi-final against Willie Casey from Limerick, Casey would be just, you know, just a regular fighter, nothing special about him. But he put a lot of pressure on Eric Donovan. And while Eric won very clearly, I thought he had a fair share of problems keeping him at bay. And he's having more than his fair share keeping David Oliver out, because Joyce knows, these guys know one another like the back of their hands. They know well that what they've got to do, what each one's got to do. David Oliver's got to stay on top of his man, and on the other hand then you have Eric is doing what he's after doing there, long jab, tip-tap move, score without getting hit.
Referee Eugene O'Kane just telling Eric Donovan to keep his head up.
Well, it's a fascinating matchup, Marty. It really is, because you have boxer versus boxer fighter, you know, and it's a matter of now who's going to hold this the longest.
Well, a very interesting round 2. It'll be interesting as well to see how the judges decided it. At the end of the first round, it was 4-2. As the information is now coming through, and it's David Oliver with 12, Eric Donovan with 8.
Yeah, well, David Oliver is just throwing more punches, Marty, you know, and if you throw the volume, if you throw 6, you might land 2, you might land 3. He is throwing more. You see there, he gets under 1-2, let's go, misses with 1, scores with 1. Once again, same thing there again. Donovan scores with a sweeping right hook. No doubt what's happening here, you know, David Oliver is outworking him. And like, that's a fair old lead now, Marty. We're at the halfway mark. It's a fair old lead. Jerry Story, a wily old coach there. Go back a long time with Jerry Story on my corner way back in the Mexico Olympic Games, and certainly in the 72 Olympics he did as well.
Round 3 in this 57-kilo featherweight title, with 4 2-minute rounds, 2 to go. And at the moment, David Oliver Joyce leading by 12 points to 8. And it really is an interesting bout here, because there are 2 different styles. Oliver Joyce, David Oliver trying to get in as close as possible, not allowing that long jab of Eric Donovan to do him any damage. And again, Joyce chases his clubmate Donovan. Defends well.
Well, Donovan is very good, he's very, very fit, but David Oliver Joyce is a guy who trains twice and 3 times a day, Marty. You know, those Joyce boys, they're really into their fitness, and it's showing here, because he's not giving Eric much time to dance around and do any fancy stuff.
And this would be quite a surprise, Mick, if David Oliver beats Eric Donovan, wouldn't it?
Well, it would only be a mild surprise, Marty, because David Oliver, I have spoken very highly of this guy. I like his style. I had said before, I said last year, if I was a professional manager, I would have him sign. He's that good, you know, for the pro game. Strangely enough, you know, Donovan is the type of fighter who could perhaps do better in international competition. But whoever's going to win this is going to get the opportunity to go to the World Championships and box in the box office for the qualifiers for the Olympics.
The World Championships take place in Moscow next September. And if you get to the quarterfinal, you get that spot in the Olympic team for Beijing. Eric Donovan did suffer from the flu last week, so it just might be affecting his overall performance. But he certainly knows now he's going to be in a battle, as David Oliver Joyce has obviously employed the right tactics. Needs to defend well and avoid that right punch that comes across every now and then.
Well, isn't it a pity, Marty, that somebody has to be a loser here, and somebody has to, and right now it's looking as though David Oliver Joyce is going to be the one that's going to win this particular one, because Eric is finding it really, really hard to stay with the pace here.
Scoreboard will reveal all now, and it's 11-21.
There we go, yeah.
David Oliver Joyce in a substantial lead at the moment.
It is the work rate of David Oliver that's getting him right up there. You know, he's throwing twice as many punches, and lots of them are getting through. Nice tight defense of his own there. But Donovan is such a good fighter, but once again, David Oliver just digs in, comes back in with his own scores, and he does punch hard. He is by far the hardest hitter of these two.
We're almost inclined to forget, you know, Nick, that David Oliver Joyce is only 18 years of age. He won't be 19 for another 2 weeks.
Another 2 weeks and he'll be celebrating 90, but he's a very cool boxer, Marty. You just look at him in the corner there. Very, very cool, very relaxed.
The name Joyce very much associated with St. Michael's and Athy. Overall, I think there are 10 Joyces involved. And this man, David Oliver Joyce, is on the verge of winning the featherweight national title. This is the final round. He's leading by 21-11. Just has to control, not do anything silly now for this last round.
Indeed, if you remember, Marty, 2 years ago, I said that this fella was my fighter of the championship. He didn't get it. His cousin David got it. You know, another good fighter. But this David Oliver, he really knows how to win. Putting the pressure on, he knows exactly what he's got to do. Don't give Eric Donovan time to breathe, and he's not giving him time. He's staying on top, lots of shots going in there, and he wings them in good, really good, strong punches. He moved up, as we said, from bantam up to feather, so that allows her that extra little bit of strength there at the featherweight division.
David Oliver must have scored with a lovely left punch to right side of Eric Donovan's jaw there. Donovan, you can see, is defending as much as he can, but again, every chance he gets, David Oliver Joyce is getting up close and personal, getting inside the cover, mixing it.
No doubt whatsoever, Marty, who the strongest boxer is here. No doubt whatsoever who the fittest boxer is here. Yes, they both want it badly. Certainly David Oliver, no, he really wants it. But he is just landing the better shots. Eric is gasping there. Eric is gasping.
Scores again with a right.
And another right. And another right.
Yeah, it's Oliver Joyce's title here, I feel. Even with 20 seconds to go in the last round. Eric Donovan looks to be, well, his cage certainly looks to be rattled at this stage.
Well, you have to feel sorry for Eric Donovan too, because he is such a good fighter, and unfortunately he's in the same weight division as David Oliver Joyce. But David Oliver is mad fit, and it just goes to show you what you can do with a huge level of fitness in any sport.
Well, a wonderful exhibition of boxing here. The two St. Michael's and Thai boys hug each other in a nice sporting gesture. They may have been rivals for the last 10-12 minutes, but they're above all else clubmates. Eric Donovan and David Oliver Joyce bringing certainly pride and great credibility to St. Michael's Athy, and it's David Oliver Joyce's title, the new featherweight champion, by 30 points to 13. That is an impressive performance by David Oliver Joyce.
Very impressive, Marty. And if anybody wants to know how he does it with sheer hard work. You know, this David Oliver Joyce, those guys travel, you know, 40, 50 miles a day to training, 40 or 50 miles back, because they live over in Mullingar and train down in Athy. So they're full-time trainers, and they know what it takes to win.
To represent Ireland at the Olympic Games and the marathon.
Certainly David Oliver Joyce will be delighted when this announcement is made. He beat Kevin Fennessy from Clonmel in last year's bantamweight final fairly comprehensively. And the following year he moves up, as we see John Tracy from the Irish Sports Council, who's going to make the official presentation here in a moment. But then David Oliver Joyce moved up a weight to featherweight, 57 kilos, and takes on his clubmate Eric Donovan and wins the title, which will be announced live here on RT2 in just a moment officially to the audience of over 2,000 people.
Trophy by a computer scoring of 30 points to 13. And the new champion of Ireland, Joyce in the blue corner.
David Oliver Joyce, bantamweight champion 2006, featherweight champion 2007, and he is only 18 years of age. 19 in a few weeks' time. He now has won 13 national titles. He is a quality boxer, and certainly my colleague here in the commentary position is a fan. Thinks very highly of David Oliver Joyce. He gets his cup and his medal from John Tracy, and a great athlete in his own day. And I think David Oliver and Eric are now going to join my own colleague, Shane O'Donoghue, for a quick chat in the ring.
Thank you very much, Marty. And David Oliver Joyce, one of the finest bantamweight fighters we've ever had in this country, and here you are at featherweight tonight, taking on the man who has won it for the last 2 years, and you did it in some style. What are your thoughts, David Oliver Joyce?
First of all, give a round of applause for Eric, because Eric's one of the best Irish boxers I've ever boxed in my whole life, and I've known him through all the years and all that, and just give him credit because he is a great boxer, you know. But I came in here tonight trying to mess up Eric's pace, like, you know. I'm getting stuck in there from the start, and that's what worked. I just kept the pace going and all that, and I finished off at the end of it, didn't I?
You were obviously looking forward to the challenge of the featherweight division and moving up to 57k.
Yeah, I was, yeah. I moved up last year during the summer there, and there was a lot of talk and all that about me moving up weight and all that, but I proved it here tonight, like, I can box at 57. I'm strong enough to be at 57 and all that, and I'm happy the way it went at the end of the night, you know. You continue winning national titles. You've been doing it since you were under 10. How do you explain it, and what more can we expect from David Oliver Joyce? Well, I've been training I've been training since I was 10 years of age, even younger, and I put a lot of training into it, sacrifice and all that, and it pays off at the end of it. If you put your mind to it, you'll get the gold you want, like, and all that, you know.
You're a worthy winner. If we could have a word with the defeated finalist here tonight, Eric Donovan, your clubmate, of course, as well, from St. Michael's in Athy. Eric, we know that you were suffering with a bit of illness in the week leading up to this. A bout of flu sort of maybe held you back a little, but how are you feeling there tonight?
I mean, the worst of it is gone, but sure, the flu is no excuse. That was a phenomenal performance by David Joyce, you know what I mean? And I tell you, he is strong enough for 57. And no, I'll be back again, you know, I'm a competitor, and you know, I just want to say it is a pity that two of us had to come into the 57 weight this year, but in one way it was a pity, but in another way, when you're David Joyce in your weight, you know, you have to quit training, you know. But, you know, congratulations to him, and yeah, he deserves it tonight. He was a better man than the new.
The champion for the last 2 years and the new featherweight champion of Ireland, David Oliver Joyce, a worthy winner and a wonderful contest.
Yeah, it certainly was a wonderful contest, and David Oliver Joyce, well, I think Marty was mentioning he's not 19 for a little while, but that was very, very impressive, Bernard, wasn't it?
I think David described the best himself. He just got in his face and upset his rhythm. You know, the likes of Eric Donovan, myself and Mick, we just talked about it. He needs to get away, doesn't he? He needs to box long. Yeah. And if you're 6 inches away from his face, you know, he can't throw them long arms. And that's what Joyce did. He just got in his face and walked.
He has a great defence as well, David Oliver Joyce. So Donovan wasn't landing, you know, head punching, you know, head going backwards.
You could see there, you know, he was getting in and banging the right hands over the top, and every time, you know, Donovan needs to throw long punches.
And trying to keep him off for 4 rounds is next to impossible, you know, so his fitness level is very high. Eric was probably suffering a little bit with a cold last week and maybe into this week, but
I think even 100% Mick, he wasn't getting out of the way of them shots, you know.
Yeah, but you still have to take a head off Oliver Joyce. It was a phenomenal performance. He won every round. He won every round clearly, you know, so...
But there would have been question marks even about him coming up to featherweight. Would Donovan have been the stronger guy, you know, but he proved tonight, you know.
The work rate was astonishing to watch, though, wasn't it? And he must be one of the fittest lads in the country, is he?
Yeah, and over 40 rounds to do that pace, it really is, especially in this heat, in a full crowd. You know, you can see him here, he's just non-stop, in his face, When he hits him, he chases him to hit him again, you know. Just didn't give him a second.
He was stronger as well, all through the fight he was stronger, you know, so Donovan couldn't, whatever Donovan had through him, he couldn't keep him away. If he was hurting him, maybe he could keep him away, but he obviously wasn't hurting him, so obviously he was still stronger.
Donovan's been a great champion himself in the last couple of years, but look, David Oliver Joyce, again, people will talk about potential. How good can he be for you, Michael?
He's got as I say, he's got a great defence. He throws a lot of punches, so you know his style will match for computers. Some people think you want to box all the time, you know, but you look at these European Olympics and World Championships, they are getting into more fights. You know what I mean? So the boxing side has really gone out of these qualifying skills. So he could be a dark horse for Belgium.
As you say, he's young. You know what I mean? Let's get these games. Let's have a go at these games. But why not in 2012 then again? You know, he'd only be 24 years of age then. He's coming into his prime, ready to have a go again. You know. But I think it's a credit to St. Michael's of a tie. You know that they have 2 guys boxing each other in the same way. You know, in the national championships.
Yeah, that's some club, isn't it? They were Club of the Year last year.
And they've been Club of the Year for the next 10 years as well. I think they're phenomenal results they've had. You know,
they're young lads in the gym.
Yeah. I've never seen 2 senior championships held by 4 boxers. I mean, they contested 2 senior finals at the same club. You know, I've never seen it. You probably see it once, but you never see it twice on the one night. You know what I mean? So, but it's only a pity that they had to meet one another. But it gives hope for the rest of them when these are all 5 minutes in the final.
It was a great fight, a hell of a scrap. You know, both guys. You can see Donovan even in the last round there trying his hard there. You know, but it wasn't happening.
Super stuff. We enjoyed that one, and we're going to enjoy the next one as well. This is in the heavyweight division, 91 kilograms. Ian Timms against John Sweeney, a Dublin man up against a Dunloe man, a Donegal man. We're going to enjoy this too at heavyweight. Let's go back to Marty and Mick again.
Thank you very much, Tara. Like yourself, I think I always enjoyed watching heavyweight title fights, and here we are live at the National Stadium with Ian Timms from St. Matthew's, Ballyfermot, taking on the man in the blue. That's John Sweeney from Dunloe in County Donegal.
Kilogram division. This is to decide the Championship of Ireland.
Ian Timms is a 27-year-old orthodox boxer. In fact, both of these boxers are orthodox, so it's going to be an interesting tussle. 27-year-old national senior champion 2002, 81 kgs that was, and of course 2005 when he was at this particular division. Timms edged out Jimmy Sweeney in an all-Dublin semi-final last Friday night to qualify for the final. The man in blue is a local hero in Donegal. He overcame a bout of flu and came from behind to beat Michael Mullaney in his semi-final bout before just edging ahead after forcing Mullaney into a standing count in the 4th round. He won that semi-final by 18 points to 15. In fact, in the quarter-final, he beat John Waldron of Castlebar. So this is going to be an interesting title fight. It's Ian Timms from Dublin in the red, taking on John Sweeney from Dunloe. Michael Gallagher is the referee, and he's from Omagh in County Tyrone. Here we go. First round, 91 kilo heavyweight national title fight. Ian Timms in the red, you may recall, lost to Alan Reynolds in last year's final. It was a great fight, so he's bounced back to qualify for this final. But John Sweeney, to a very large extent, is a bit of a surprise here. But that having been said, Mick Dowling told me today that if an upset is to happen, this is where it could happen.
Oh, Marty, you know, yeah, this young Sweeney fella, he's come out of more or less no place, you know, and nobody gives him much of a chance. He is the underdog. Ian Timms has been around such a long time. He knows his way well around this ring, and as you mentioned, he had 2 great battles here with Alan Reynolds over the past 2 or 3 years. but he wasn't very impressive in his semi-final. I thought he was lucky to shade it over Jimmy Sweeney from Drimnagh when he won by 1 single point. But in saying that, you know, I was impressed with Sweeney. Now, whether Sweeney will have the power to do well with Timms or not, well, that remains to be seen. But he certainly has got a good right hand, and if he can put it on Ian Timms and keep the pressure on, it's anybody's fight then.
So what is the game plan? What should we be looking out for here, Mick, from John Sweeney's perspective?
Sweeney will want to be putting a lot of pressure on Ian Timms. You know, Ian might not like a lot of pressure on. He's got to put a lot of pressure on. He's got to get that big long right hand of his over the top onto Timms' head if he can. But it's, again, easier said than done. But he is the younger man, and he needs to put on more pressure and throw a lot of shots, just like we saw with David Oliver in the last contest. Throw lots of punches, Marty, because if you throw the punches, well, you may land, you know, 3 out of 6 or something like that. I think Sweeney might be a little bit overawed earlier on here, but he may settle down a little bit. This is new territory for him. He hasn't been in senior championship finals before at all. This is totally new to him.
Well, it would suggest, actually, Mick, that by the body language, he just seems to be a little bit unsure of himself. And I think he was happy to hear that bell and just get through that first round to settle.
Ian Timms is not the kind of guy that, you know, you would like to meet in a dark alley. He is intimidating looking, and I think he is intimidating this young man, young John Sweeney. But, yeah, score up here. Well, it is Timms, yeah, 2-0. Sweeney hasn't got off the mark yet, but I am fairly confident that he will do. But he does need to throw a lot more punches if he's to have a chance. Timms getting in there, roughing him up against the ropes, using his power, using his strength. Working hard there on the inside.
So really what you're saying to me, Mick, is that John Sweeney has to adopt the David Oliver Joyce strategy to win. Get in close, get in those punches.
Well, not necessarily that close, but he's just got to throw a lot more punches, Marty. Throw them long, throw them clean, throw them straight. Because Ian Timms loves to get inside, as we know from previous years. He loves to get in and have a good old punch-up. But Sweeney will want to be throwing longer punches. I tried to get them clean on target.
Start of round 2, Ian Timms leading by 2 points. Sweeney yet to get on the scoreboard, so he needs, Nick was saying, to get in some scores, get in some punches. Timms chases his opponent and gets in some valuable point-scoring punches as well. Wealth of experience, Ian Timms. And it certainly looks like John Sweeney could be in trouble.
Well, this is what Sweeney now, he's trying to liven up to there, and the crowd are behind him. He does have a good following, came down here from Donegal, but he does need to start throwing those punches in the flurries that he's just been doing. But he needs to keep a lot of pressure on. Tim's corner being told to keep quiet there, not allowed talk during the rounds.
Referee giving the warning this time to Ian Timms. Heavyweight title fights always seem to get the crowd warmed up and enthusiastic, and this battle between Timms and Sweeney is no different.
Sweeney putting the pressure on, but it may take another round or so before he starts to slow Timms down. But he's trying to get that big long right hand on target. But that's all he needs to do, Marty. Simple stuff, because he doesn't have the technique to throw fancy punches, fancy hooks or anything. So what he needs is just simple, straightforward lefts and rights. Nothing fancy. Because I've always said, if you do the simple things correctly, you can win many titles.
Sweeney's punch there just arriving after the referee had called the break. Some blood on the brow of Ian Timms' nose. The referee just checking and making sure that it is okay.
Well, it's a nose that's taken a few punches in its day, you know, so he's not going to have any problems. A little bit of skin off it there, which I had actually noticed it from his, I think, his semi-finals fight.
Sweeney got in a punch there, which should put him at least on the scoreboard and give him a little bit of confidence.
Sweeney is definitely warming to this. A good strong jab, good right hand, another right hand. Yeah, Sweeney warming to this now. It'll be interesting to see if he's got any scores for those few punches.
Well, he should have, really.
Oh, well.
And again, the referee wants the helmet to be fixed on Ian Timms' head.
I also always say about these head guards, Mark, you know, it's like going to war. All of these things should be perfectly in place before a boxer goes out.
End of round 2. Be interesting to see if John Sweeney managed to impress the judges as he impressed Nick and myself here by getting in some valuable punches.
Hands up here, hands up on it.
And here Ian Timms being told to keep the hands up. His coach obviously aware that Sweeney was in fact getting inside the cover. And there you go. Ian Timms now leads by just 1 point, 5-4. So John Sweeney performance being acknowledged like us here in the commentary position, much more importantly that the judges agree with us.
Well, indeed, there's no doubt about it that John Sweeney now sees and knows where he can win this. He knows what he's got to do. He knows he's got to throw lots of clean shots, simple stuff, long straight punches. I think, you know, he might be getting a feeling for it now. They're halfway through this match here, Marty. They're halfway through it, you know, and it's going to be all to play for. And I think the younger man should be putting on the pressure. I'm not saying he's going to be good enough to do it, but he should be piling on the pressure here on Ian Timms.
Start of third round. Can John Sweeney put the pressure on, as Mick Dowling is suggesting? He's at the moment just trailing by 1 point, 5-4 after 2 rounds. Getting inside that cover, getting in the punches, not being intimidated. Timms comes here with a wealth of experience, but losing last year's title fight to Alan Reynolds must have affected his confidence. And again, the helmet looks a little bit loose. Reynolds' defense is solid. Stands his ground bravely. John Sweeney studying a false course in technology at Sligo IT. He is 5 years younger than his direct opponent. But the one thing about Timms is he comes to the National Stadium with a long pedigree of experiences here and indeed elsewhere.
Well, he does, Marty. When he comes to fight, you know, he's a great old warrior. You have to give him his due. But you know, whether he's going to be able to hang on to this here now and withstand the pressure from the younger man, well, we're halfway through this third round here.
Sweeney growing in confidence, but he needs to score like he did during the second round. And again, the helmet is a problem.
Well, you know, we're asking what does Sweeney have to do to win. I mean, if you ask me what does Timms have to do to win, he's got to push out simple jabs, just simple punches to keep Sweeney off him. And if he sticks out that good, strong left jab of his, Marty, that alone can pick up the points and it can keep Sweeney from scoring his shots.
Another interesting title fight here at the National Stadium.
Oh, good.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Great punch by Sweeney.
Good left and a right for Sweeney. Simple shots straight down the middle.
He's not a fancy boxer, but he stands his ground. Solid and spectacular.
Ian Timms is having none of it, boy, I'll tell you. He's coming back at it. He's not going to give up this title too easy.
It's a real tussle out there. The bell sounds and both acknowledge sportingly that this is a battle right to the last round. Heavyweight national title at stake, 91 kilos. And again, words of advice from the two coaches. But this is going to be the interesting part. What have the judges decided? It is now Ian Timms leading by 2, increasing his lead slightly by 8 points to 6. Despite that double punch by John Sweeney, didn't close the gap.
Well, indeed. I mean, Ian Timms is going to have to dig real deep now to hang on in this final round. 2 points. It's a nice, comfortable lead, Marty. But nevertheless, 2 good, clean shots from John Sweeney, as we saw there, big right hand from him over the top. He needs to do more of that, but to pull back those 2 points and get another one on top of that, that's a fair ask for somebody who's never been here at this level before. But I'm sure he's going to give it his best shot here.
It's a case of nothing to lose here for John Sweeney. Ian Timms badly wants to make up for last year's final defeat. He leads by 2 points, but Sweeney needs to get in close and keep Ian Timms from moving around. Again, just a word of warning there to the man with the red shirt.
This is not good for Ian Timms. This now has leveled up the scoring. He's got a warning there, judges warning, referee's warning there for dropping his shoulder. He's been warned about it a number of times, so now he picks up a penalty of 2 points.
And Sweeney scores as well.
Sweeney scores again with another right.
Just over a minute left in this heavyweight title fight. And what a struggle, what a fight it is. As both boxers literally take the gloves off now and go at each other. Timms tried to come in with the right. Sweeney.
Timms is the old dog for the hard road. He knows now, Marty. He knows that he's up against it here. He gets caught with another left hand as he comes in here. But he's trying to pile on the pressure. He's trying to impress the judges, trying to get that odd clean hit up on the scoreboard, which is what he needs to do badly.
He's just got 37 seconds to do it, though. Gets in a punch there on the right. Sweeney, 22-year-old from Dunlow.
No doubt this is a great performance here from Sweeney. It really is a wonderful performance. Somebody first time in at this level of boxing. Yeah, Timms gets warned for pulling him down there. But again, playing cute, looking for time.
Take a breather. 6 seconds left. Every punch now invaluable. As Sweeney tries to land another. Gets out from the corner and away from the danger. It's going to be a knife edge right to the very end.
This contest is a toss-up, Marty. This is so close. Timms knows it's close. That head guard still giving a little bit of problem. Both boxers delighted with that little wrist fight there.
Huge volume of support here for John Sweeney. They're hoping for one more punch before that bell sounds. Timms keeps him at bay and keeps chasing. Tries to push him into the corner.
Well, Timms knows. He knows he needs that extra little punch. Has he got it? Well, we're soon going to know.
Certainly one of the most entertaining bouts of the evening here. The 91-kilo heavyweight title fight between John Sweeney and Ian Timms. And it looks like Ian Timms has it by 14 points to 9.
No doubt, Marty, the old dog for the hard road. He knew what he had to do in that final round there, and he kept pushing and pressing forward all the time and did impress the judges.
27-year-old from Ballyfermot, and John Sweeney did very well here. It's not empty platitudes, but you don't come at 22 years of age and take on an experienced boxer like Ian Timms and literally bring it to the fourth and final round before victory is secured by Ian Timms. National senior champion 2002, 2005. He lost 2006 to Alan Reynolds, but he's more than made up for it this year. This is a very important moment for Ian Timms.
In a long time. Will you please show your appreciation for two?
And the MC of the evening, Harry McGavock from Belfast. I think concurring with everybody's thoughts that this was in fact one of the best heavyweight title fights for some time.
The Irish Daily Star sponsored heavyweight national championship for the year 2007 and holder of the Brendan O'Connor trophy by a computer scoring of 14 points to 9. Timms in the red corner.
Yes, indeed. Ian Timms is declared the national heavyweight champion for 2007. The credit as well his opponent, John Sweeney. Only 22 years of age, but he's going to have a future at national level. Ian Timms, I think, acknowledging that John Sweeney certainly put it up to him here this evening in the National Stadium.
Well, Marty, it is hard to, to make up for experience, and Ian Timms showed it in that final round, especially in that final minute there. He knew what he had to do, especially when he got that judge's warning. He knew he had to pull out all the stops, and he did that. He just has the inner strength is in him there. He's 27 years old, has that extra few years on young John Sweeney. But Sweeney can be happy in knowing that he will come again. There's no doubt about that.
This is a better performance, though, Mick, by Ian Timms in the final, because against Jimmy Sweeney in the semi-final, he only barely scraped through.
He did, and a good reason for that too. Jimmy Sweeney is a very cute, awkward southpaw, and that's why he came on and done so well.
Let's get some reaction from Ian Timms now, and let's join Shane O'Donoghue.
Ian, obviously you've got a wealth of experience at this level, and this, of course, the third final that we've seen you in, and losing out to Alan Reynolds last year. How important was it for you to really get stuck in tonight?
Yeah, it was. I was sick after last year, it was good for you. Could have went the other way, like I said last year, So I was awful coming back and winning, But I injured my hand the first fight, and I was watching this fella throughout the tournament, you know, couldn't happen, he was going to be there, tough as nails, he's only 22, 23 or something. I mean, 21, like, you know what I mean? He's coming around with a long time, like, you know what I mean?
Well, I have to tell you that Anil Reynolds is here tonight. He retired after winning last year, but he says he's going to be back next year to take the title off you.
Oh, we have a go, so, you know, it's 1-1. But it's good to get him back. You need boxers like him here, you know what I mean? Brings a bit of, colour to the scene, you know? You're saying kind of eagle, like, no point having him. I can't even get to see him. Throws one, didn't fight's over. You know what I mean?
Well done to Ian Timms, retaining the title that he last won in 2005. Irish heavyweight champion for 2007.
Okay, Shane, brilliant stuff. Great character, great champion, Ian Timms, and that was a super fight, Bernard, wasn't it?
Yeah, a hell of a bat, you know. And that typifies Timsy all over, you know. I'm good friends with Ian, and that's my dad in the corner there with Greg Orman, and you know, it just is so much heart and so much determination. Here last year against Anil Reynolds, like, you know, you got to remember, Timms isn't a fully fledged heavyweight. Yeah. Like, I think he weighed in there 85 kilos, 86 kilos. Like, it's nearly a stone lighter than most of these guys. And I've seen him here against Cubans, and you know, here you can just see him, he just pushes forward, and this is a heavyweight guy he's pushing around the ring, you know. Incredible performance by him, you know, and he is suffering badly with a sore hand.
But anything one for him is his brute strength one for him, yeah. He basically bullied him for the 4th round, caught him with a good few right hands there as well.
Experience told.
But in fairness, Sweeney put up a good battle in the second part of the fight, you know, so.
Oh, well, this is the thing, you have to give him credit. First time in at this level. Absolutely. They were having debates what age he is. He's in his early 20s, but he deserves credit.
Tim's been in some battles with, you know, good opponents.
And international
with Anil Reynolds,
well, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, experience has to pay off, you know. It's Sweeney's shooting for his final. But, you know, Ian's going to feel all the bumps tomorrow, put it that way.
Like, you can see a little bit of, you know, Timms when he's tired, he knows what to do, he knows to grab, he knows to get him around. And then he knows when to let the shots
Great
go.
Combination there, 2-punch combination from Sweeney there. So he was in there to win it, Sweeney. Again, good right hand from Sweeney.
I think credit has to go to both lads. You know, hell of an effort. You know, for heavyweights, they did a hell of a lot of punching in there. You know, they did just as much punching as Joyce and Donovan early on. You know.
Yeah, and you can see this. You can see the fitness levels with the heavier lads now getting bigger and bigger. You know, they're getting. You know, they're fighting like the smaller lads now because they know they have to. Because this is what international boxing's about now.
Okay, it was really very, very enjoyable, and Ian Timms, the heavyweight champion for 2007, very worthy winner, but John Sweeney, as we've said, deserves credit for his part in what was a super fight. We're going to go to lightweight next. That's coming up after the break. John Joe Joyce against Kieran Bates. We've got that live for you in just a few minutes. Welcome back to the stadium. More live boxing for you now from the lightweight division from St Michael's Athy, John Joe Joyce, and then from St Mary's in Dublin, Kieran Bates. Commentary from Marty and Mick again.
Thanks a million, Darry. Yes, we're looking forward to the 60-kilo lightweight title fight that's about to happen here live in the National Stadium. John Joe Joyce will take on Kieran Bates. John Joe is brother of David and first cousin of David Oliver, who you saw earlier win the featherweight title by beating Eric Donovan. So far tonight, if John Joe in the red wins, it'll mean 3 national titles for St Michael's Club in Athy, at welterweight, featherweight and possibly lightweight. And certainly it's going to be an interesting tussle against Kieran Bates in the blue from St Mary's Club in Tala, just a 22-year-old, but intermediate champion from 2 years ago, while John Joe Joyce is 19-year-old and the current senior champion. So it's going to be a most interesting title fight. Both are orthodox boxers. And Mick Dowling, you have your own thoughts on this particular battle.
Yeah, Marty, I mean, a lot of people that would say that John Joe Joyce is the best of all of the Joyces. And in fact, I know that amongst some of the Joyce clan themselves, they would say that John Joe is perhaps one of the best. I'm not so sure about that. But what I am sure of is that he is a very, very good, skillful boxer. He's got lovely balance. He's got a beautiful long jab. He's got a lovely right hand. He's got a lot of things going for him. But I think against young Kieran Bates, it's going to be a difficult one for him.
Well, as you can see, John Joe Joyce is 19 years of age, current senior champion, 6 national titles, and had a rather convincing 26 points to 5 semi-final win over Glasnevin's Carl Crowley only last Friday night. Joyce is the favourite and should be better technically than Bates. John Joe Joyce, well schooled. Kieran Bates is from St Mary's Boxing Club in Tala, 22-year-old, intermediate champion from 2 years ago, and was a finalist in the under-21 championship. And he was quite impressive in his 22-4 semi-final victory over J.P. Campbell. So both of these boxers come to this national final with Seamus Kelly from Omagh and County Tyrone, the man in charge, with quite growing reputations. Particularly Bates seems to be growing with every year, but he's only got one national title in comparison to John Joe Joyce with 6. First round of the national lightweight title fight between John Joe Joyce in the red and Kieran Bates in the blue. Both straightforward boxers, both orthodox. And John Joe Joyce had a great season 2 years ago. He won gold at the Four Nations Juniors in Scotland, bronze at the European Junior in Estonia, and became national junior champion as well. So certainly 2 years ago had a fabulous season. Kieran Bates is a student in ITT in Dublin, that's in Tala. Busy sort of fighter, very quick hands and quite good footwork. I think you'd agree with that analysis, Mick?
I would indeed, Marty. I play a very, very small part in coaching him because I look after the IT Tala boys, and yes, Kieran is one of ours, but he is coached, of course, by the St Mary's Boxing Club coach, and who does a very good job on him. Yeah, he's not a hard hitter. He's a nice, good, skillful boxer, moves around well. Good jab, good left hook, but he's not a knockout puncher, but then neither is John Joe Joyce. Both good, skillful fighters. So I think it's going to be a nice, good, skillful contest here between both of them.
Well, that's Kieran Bates that's doing most of the attacking in the opening round here. John Joe Joyce, good footwork. Very well schooled. And certainly, as Mick was saying earlier, many people would say the best of the Joyces. Mind you, after what we saw from David Oliver, I'm sure that's up for discussion and for debate. 22-year-old in blue, 19-year-old in red.
Well, as you can see, both of them nice upright boxers. John Joe Joyce, nice fast mover, good balance, but so too has Kieran Bates. But Kieran's problem sometimes is that he's very quick and anxious to get in and take on his opponent, where perhaps at times he might be better off standing off and counter-punching.
Seemed to be patient enough there now in that first one, and did actually, I would imagine, score.
Well, we're going to see it here now, Marty, but yeah, 6 to Joyce, 2 to Bates. Yeah, well, I suppose one would expect that would be sort of a fair reflection of the way the contest has gone here, because Joyce is so quick. He pops in very fast in there with that long right hand, as I said at the outset, scores with it nicely. Bates tries to come back in with a shot, but Joyce is always standing upright, Marty, always standing upright and always watching his opponent very, very closely. At last, I suppose we get a chance to see Dominic O'Rourke do a corner there now. So that's Dominic O'Rourke of that St Michael's Club.
Oh, these coaches are very passionate and very determined to implement their particular strategies in this particular title fight.
Well, that was Noel Burke there of the St Mary's Club, and he was trying to tell Kieran to try and get outside that jab or get inside it, one or the other, and that's what he's got to do, try and draw the punches and slip them.
4 2-minute rounds, of course, in these national finals. We're in round 2 of the 60-kilo lightweight title fight. It's trailing by 4 points to 2. Let's just concentrate it for the moment on Kieran Bates, Mick. From what you've seen so far, what would be your advice to him if you were in the corner?
Well, it's not easy to give advice against one of the Joyces, but he has got to try and draw John Joe Joyce to him and then counter very quick, Marty, you know, because otherwise, if you go to Joyce, he just fades away. He's just gone that 3, 4, 5 inches back. So you're better off draw his punch that he's got to come to you and then try to counter, as he's done very well there with a right over the top followed by a left hook. That's the type of thing he's got to do. And when he is going to attack, he's got to make sure that he goes all the way in, because what he doesn't want to do is to fall 3, 4 or 5 inches short and then he gets picked off.
Well, Well, he needs to do what he did a moment ago more often. And, draw out those punches.
No use putting your head down, Kieran. No use putting your head down. When those jabs come out, you've got to smack that right hand straight over the top and very, very promptly, very quickly.
John Joyce seems to be quite elusive as well. Moves around the ring quite effectively.
Nice left hook there from Kieran Bates, but will he get it on the scorecard when we see it after the round? Joyce being told not to be holding. Bates told step back a fraction.
Seconds to go on this second round as Bates chases after Joyce, which has sensed the feeling that Joyce is still the master on the scoreboard.
Yeah, Joyce picked him off with a nice long right hand there just before the bell.
And as we can see, John Joyce now leads by 5. It's 12-7, which I think is a fair reflection of the overall trend of the bout.
I think it is a fair reflection, Marty. All right, here you can see, yeah, Joyce gets in very quick, lands his shot, gets back out again. Bates here in the blue on the inside, trying to pick off the clean shots, but it's very, very difficult to get clean shots on the inside. Judges just do not see them. Well, there you go again, in the red. John Joyce picks off nice 1-2 to the head. And those are the punches that are getting noticed. Joyce again, just like his brother and his cousin, mad fit, great shape, good listener, taking in everything he's been told there by Dominic O'Rourke.
Heading for the third round in this lightweight title fight, with John Joyce now leading by 5. 6-2 round 1, 12-7 round 2.
Well, can you afford to give a Joyce five points up, you know, at half-time in a match or in a contest, and pull him back to beat him? Well, it's going to take one heck of an effort here from Kieran Bates. But certainly Kieran won't be, it won't be for the want of trying, because he's a great, tough little fighter and has always great heart. And he's always in good shape himself. He trains very hard, does a lot of training on his own as well, outside of his college hours.
Has to chase this particular title, I feel. John Joyce in control of matters so far.
I think he's got to do a David Oliver Joyce now on John Joe. Kieran Bates has. In other words, he's got to stay on top of him, Marty, and just keep throwing a lot of leather and hope that he's going to get some of the clean scores. Now, he is trying it, but it's getting a little bit scrappy in there, and he will get no points for that.
John Joyce being told by the referee to just keep his head up, but Joyce scores again.
That's typical Joyce, in, out, lean back, bobs out of the way, makes you miss, then picks off the score. You see Kieran lunging in there. You're not going to fool John Joyce with that sort of boxing. It's got to be nice and smart, Kieran. No use swinging that right lead either. All he needs to do is pop that jab. Just use the jab to make his way in there. That's more like it. That's more like it. Simple, straight shots. Because the Joyces are so cute at leaning back out of the way, leaning back as he's done there, lean back and caught Kieran Bates as he came in.
Third round should have been a good one for Kieran Bates, but not too sure whether it'll make up that 5-point margin. Here comes the score, 23 for John Joyce, 8 for Kieran Bates. And to all intents and purposes, you feel this national title fight is over.
Absolutely, yeah. You cannot give a Joyce that sort of a lead, but Joyce just picking all the shots. You've seen the way he leaned over that time and landed a beautiful left hook into the ribs of Kieran Bates. But he's just standing upright, he's picking him off, he's watching what Kieran is doing all the time, and it's a difficult task now for Kieran Bates to pull that huge lead back. But he's taking in everything that his coach Noel Burke is saying here to him, but I think at this stage he needs to land some big punches to win this. He's going to have to win inside the distance. It's got to be a knockout, and the unfortunate thing is Kieran Bates doesn't have the power to knock out.
Really lunging at John Joe Joyce is not paying any dividends. He really has to draw those punches and then score.
He's got to draw the punches and then try and land some good, clean counter punches. And as I said, unfortunately, Kieran is not a big knockout puncher, so he's going to have to depend on picking up a lot of points, but I think he's going to need more points. It's a miracle he's going to need now to pull it back at this stage.
John Joe Joyce uses the ring, keeps moving the feet around, keeps dodging the shots that Kieran Bates is producing.
You see, once again, you know, Kieran Bates goes to college. Kieran Bates works part-time work. John Joe Joyce, full-time boxer. It is not easy for any young boxer to come along and take on some of the boys that are working with the high performance in full-time training.
From an international perspective, John Joe Joyce a real prospect?
Oh, he's a very good prospect, Marty. As I said, some of them, including many within the Joyce clan themselves, feel that this is the best of them. I'm not so sure of that, but nevertheless, he is a very correct technical fighter. Picks off nice punches and is very, very hard to hit. You see, he leans in, gets away, really good footwork. And again, like his brother, like his cousin, he is a twice-a-day trainer.
Bates doing well there,
Yeah.
inside Joyce's cover.
Nips him with a nice left hook to the chin there, yeah.
But when you are training twice a day, it's quite difficult for young students like Kieran Bates. So there is a gap there that is difficult to fill.
There is, and you can see that, you know, we saw it with Kenneth Egan, we saw it with Sutherland, you would see it with Conor Hearn and the other boys that are on the high performance training. They're full-time, Marty. Full-time boxers now, being well funded by the National Sports Council. And it's a good thing, and it's about time it happened. But I would like to see young Kieran Bates get a hold of some of that money.
Well, Bates got in a couple of punches in this final round, but it's not going to be enough to deprive John Joe Joyce of retaining his lightweight title. And Kieran Bates goes after his opponent to congratulate him, and indeed his corner, because it certainly looks like John Joe Joyce has this national title won. From what we've seen, Mick, from your viewpoint, is there a slight change in the corner in terms of boxing? Are we going to have quite a good team going to Beijing, to the Olympics?
Well, it's a long way, Marty, to Beijing yet, because they have to go, of course, to the World Championships, and hopefully we will get Kenneth Egan to qualify. Perhaps we'll get Sutherland to qualify. Maybe we might get David Oliver to qualify, or somebody else. I would hope that we would be able to get perhaps 2 and maybe 3 away to the Olympic Games this time.
But there seems to be far more potential over the last 2 seasons than for a long time.
There is no doubt about it. There is some excellent potential there, and it's a matter now of the high performance team working with them to see that they get their qualifications from the World Championship or from some of the qualifiers which follow on.
Winner of the Irish
the official announcement.
Lightweight National Championships for the year 2007 and holder of the Tommy Murphy Cup by a computer scoring of 29 points to 12, and the new champion of Ireland, Joyce, in the red corner.
John Joe Joyce, current and indeed future lightweight champion, because he's retained his title, 60 kilo. And of course, for St. Michael's Athy, they've now won 3 national titles here tonight, and welterweight, featherweight, and indeed lightweight. We've seen some fabulous boxers indeed. This man's first cousin, David Oliver, won the featherweight by beating Eric Donovan. But John Joe Joyce and David Oliver, 2 of the winning boxers here tonight. For Kieran Bates' disappointment, but it is a learning curve. But John Joe, a class boxer, and he's going across now to have a few words, I think, with our own Shane O'Donoghue.
He'll be with us presently. Thanks very much, Marty. But John Joe Joyce, a worthy winner tonight, defending his title in fine style. So, John Joe, how confident were you with this bout ahead of you all week long?
Always confident, like, you mean, and to win the championship, I shouldn't be confident. But Kieran boxed brilliant tonight. Very good.
You're a worthy winner. Well done to John Joe Joyce.
Okay, So John Joe Joyce, the champion. Bernard, is he, Mick Dillon was talking about it in the commentary, is he the best of the Joyce boxers, do you think?
Well, you can see tonight he's a class act. You know, he's got a beautiful style for the computer. You know, he's hands, he's strong. You know, he shows lovely clean shots that everybody can see scoring. You know, I suppose people at home are sitting watching the fight saying, how come Kieran only scored like, you know, so many points? You know, Joyce's points are so easy to see, whereas States are all short shots, you know.
He drops the right hand into the body, and they don't normally score for body shots, but it's so quick and it's so clear. They have to
you're
score
looking at Bates' shots there, you know, they're all banged off, focusing around the arms and the shoulders and stuff. They're not going to score. Whereas you look at Joyce, he's stepping back, he's getting out of the way of the shot, scoring a clean shot back, you know, and it's lovely box, it's lovely to watch. You know. He's only a kid, he's only 19.
Well, this is it, but it also, I suppose, emphasises the point about full and part-time.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he's up against a full-time manager, you know, and the fitness, the sharpness isn't there for him. He got outboxed. He never changed his plan, really.
One thing I worry about is that he got tired towards the end there, decided to get hit with shots he should never have been getting hit with. So hopefully he can clear that up a bit now for the international scene.
Okay, boys, thanks a lot. A comprehensive win for John Joe Joyce. Now, as promised earlier on, remember we were talking about Katie Taylor, Ireland's world and European champion. She was fighting in action here this evening against a Finnish opponent called Eva Wallström. This was in an exhibition match, a big night for Katie Taylor. Here's some action from round 3 of that.
Third and final round of this special contest and a repeat of the European final. Taylor has all the advantage in the red, leading by 13-3. This is the final round, third round. This lightweight 60-kilo contest. And, 2 boxers that contested the European final.
Well, Katie has every incentive now to do well. You know, she's been brought onto the high-performance grant system. She's now, as far as I know, she's going to be getting the top money in grants, so she's very, very pleased with that. Spar have come on board to help her out as well, so that's a very, very good thing for her. She can now concentrate on doing her studies and doing her boxing, and she's certainly doing both of them now extremely well. She goes to college out in Bray.
Trying to get inside the cover of Eva Wallström, 20-year-old Katie Taylor.
She has the ability, Marty, to punch off either foot. You know, it could be a left hook, it could be a right cross, it could be a simple straight jab, and that's the problem when you're taking on somebody like Katie. You never know what's going to come your way, whether it's going to come straight at you or whether it's going to come around the corner. But there she had to just sway away from that big right hand from Wallström.
Wallström is able to get inside the cover of Taylor, but then Taylor responds magnificently and gets in a couple of punches to the jaw. There's no doubt Katie can fight like a little tiger, like a little cat. You know, she when the pressure comes on, the more pressure comes on, the more she responds to it. Well, Wallström knows now that she's got to do something herself to pull a few points out of the bag. I think she's finding it very, very difficult here, and the referee telling her not to hit on the break. It looks like Katie Taylor is going to win on home soil here, just seconds away from the bell.
Certainly powerful punches, Marty.
There's the bell. It should signal victory once again for Katie Taylor.
Winner by a computer scoring of 20 points to 4. Taylor in the red corner.
I think it was a very comfortable fight. I just got a bit tired there in the last round, but I think it's my kind of first fight since I came back from the World Championship, so I'm happy with my performance tonight.
Well, that was Katie Taylor, a very impressive performance from our world and European champion. Bernard, who impressed you the most this evening here at these championships?
I think John Joe Joyce, you know, he's a fantastic fighter, you know, he won clinically tonight, you know, any kid watching at home should be, you know, aspiring to be like himself, you know.
Michael, who was your star tonight?
It was close between John Joe Joyce and David Oliver, but I'm going to pick David Oliver, I think, because I'm nothing against Kieran Bates. He put up a great performance, but I think, you know, Donovan was a more sizable opponent. He was the champion for the 2 years previous, coming up the weight as well. So I think he put on a class performance, David Oliver Joyce, and I think he could get the box out tournament.
Okay, well, that'll all be decided later on. Let's have a brief look at the results of the evening so far. They'll be fighting, I think, for another hour or so. There's some other national titles to be decided, but Sutherland we saw winning round 3 against O'Kane. Featherweight, Joyce the winner on points, and then heavyweight, Ian Timms the winner in that against Sweeney. Bantamweight, Lindbergh the winner. Welterweight, victory for Sheehan. Light heavyweight, Kenneth Egan. Of course, hopes for him with the Olympic Games. And finally, well, as we've seen, Joyce the winner at lightweight. And then we had a little look at Katie Taylor, comprehensive victory over Ava Wallstrom in that exhibition here at the stadium earlier on this evening. Now, my sincere thanks to Bernard and Michael. Great to have their company here with us this evening. And the road for some of our competitors has already begun for Beijing and the Olympic Games next year. We wish them well with that, but it's been a super night. Thanks for watching.